Okay, hi everybody. It's Allison, and I'm still kind of new at this. I scheduled it, and then I didn't really know how to turn it on. So I'm going to, I think, maybe put my computer on a block so that I can move this back a little bit so that, yeah, okay, that's better. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know, nobody's on here, but that's okay. That is perfectly fine. You can stream it later. Anyway. Um, so we're gonna get started with a little yoga flow this morning, and it will be kind of a yoga flow that will be peppered with resistance stretching, since I teach both. As usual, don't do it if it hurts, and if things get too advanced, then just skip it. Work within your range of motion, um, and as with any type of exercise, just um, check with your doctor to make sure it's okay for you to do this stuff, to do exercise. And there's always a risk that you might be injured doing anything, walking around and being injured. But so you're taking part in this, your own free will. Anyway, we're going to get started. And today we're going to do a little bit of quad stretching, some back bending, and as usual, um, some resistance stretching. So let's come to the mat. You'll need a couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. Um, and a couple blankets and maybe a strap. Okay? Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. I think my microphone is working. Seems to be. So we're going to come to the mat and start on our back today. And I think if you have blocks, this is great. We're going to put one of the blocks right there. You could put it flat if you want to, and then one block under your head. If you do not have blocks, just take a blanket, put it in thirds, and set it down, and you'll be on the blanket like this. Your shoulders will be kind of off of the blanket, and then the other blanket can be for your head. So your shoulders are kind of spilling off of the blanket. But I'm going to use the blocks. So I'm putting one block underneath my upper back, my thoracic spine, and the other block underneath my head. Make adjustments as you need. Then by all means, put the block on the lower position. Just try to get the chest opened up a little bit before we start. So I am just going to lie here and wait for my chest to open up a little bit. And breathe. I'm going to close my eyes. You can close your eyes if you like or not. It's up to you. And just take a moment to kind of let this chest open up. You can keep your arms down low, or you can float them up a little higher. For me, I know when I float them up high, sometimes it takes a while before the hands will even rest on the ground. We want to give a good amount of time so that changes can actually happen. Typically, with passive stretching, you need at least 30 seconds. I know we've been over 30 seconds, but with this one, the longer the better. And then take a couple of deep breaths. And then to come up, just kind of come up on your elbows. Take the blocks out from under you. Put them to the side. And then come right back down to the mat. Take your arms out to the side. Swing your knees from side to side slowly. And then set your feet on the mat. We're going to take the left foot out to the side, 45-degree angle away from the body, and then cross the right ankle over. I'm going to push my ankle into my knee, and my knee is going to push back into the ankle. So there's tension between the two. And I'm going to rotate the knee in and then open with that tension between the two. Or not. You don't have to have tension between the two. That's okay. If you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling anything as you rotate the knee in, then bring the heel a little closer. See if you feel in your quad. One more time. And then we're going to switch sides. So take your right foot out to the side, 45-degree angle away from the body, and left ankle crosses over. Press the ankle into the knee presses into the ankle, and then rotate that knee inward and open. And again, work within your range of motion. So if you're getting to here and this causes your knee to hurt, then don't go that far. And again, if this isn't enough for you, then bring your heel in closer to you. And unhook your legs. You're going to roll up to seated and find hands and knees. I'm going to adjust this so that it's a little bit lower. There, that's better. So hands and knees as usual. If your knees are sensitive and you need something underneath them, take a blanket or pillow, put them underneath your knees. Hands and knees, cat-cow, round your back. Exhale, nod your head. Stretch the shoulder blades away from each other. And then inhale, drop the belly, drop the chest, let the shoulder blades pull together and the chest between the arms. So exhaling and inhaling. Feel free to move around a little bit more as you're doing this. I'm adding in a little bit of a resistance stretch here. So as I'm pulling my hips back, I'm pushing my hands into the mat, rounding the back, and I'm getting a little bit of a lat stretch there. But feel free to move as you please. And then we're going to come up. And if your knees are sensitive, I'm going to use a blanket for this one just to make it nicer. I'm going to take my right foot out to the side. So this is like gate pose in yoga, but we're going to use it as a resistance stretch. So take your left arm behind your head and take your right arm over the top. Push your elbow out and hold it. So the elbow tension is out, and you're going to hold it steady with your hand. So if you let go of your hand, your elbow would do that. So hold that steady, and then push your right foot into the mat and lean. And we're just going to come in and out of this about 5 times. And then we're going to lean the opposite direction. So from here, put your hand on the mat and then take your right arm up and over and just get a nice deep side bend. Now, if you can, lift your foot, bend your knee, grab your foot behind you. Push the foot into the hand and get a quad stretch. If that is not something that you're up for today, then just hang out here. And maybe take the arm back behind you and turn the torso, turn the hips to open up the front body a little bit more. Otherwise, pull. And release. And we'll do the other side. So left leg stretched out. I take my right arm up and over. Left hand holds it steady. I'm pushing the elbow out just to create a little tension there. And then pushing my left foot into the mat, bending to the left. Just in and out of it. And then stretch the opposite side. So I'm putting my hand down and stretching up and over. And believe me, you can just take this as far as you like, or you can open the chest this way, kind of turn the hips open. It feels so good. Or lift the leg, grab the foot. Push the foot into the hand. And you've got an excellent quad stretch. and release, and rise. And then I'm gonna take this put this blanket away. A lot of putting away and setting up props. And I'm gonna actually turn that up a little bit more so that I can stand and my head doesn't get cut off. Oh, I hope it doesn't get cut off. We'll see. And then we're back to the mat and we're gonna hit downward dog. So I'm not a big stickler on perfect downward dog. You just do what you can. I'm gonna tuck the toes under, lift the knees, and press my hips up and back. Pedal the heels into the mat. Just kind of feel it out. Get the calf stretched out. And then shift forward to a plank. From plank, shift back to downward dog. Lower the heels. Shift forward to plank. If you can, start to lower the hips a little bit. The belly is in and up. Start to lower the hips a little bit. Lift the chest and pull the chest through the arms. So we're going to go upward dog, downward dog. Upward dog, downward dog. You do not have to add the upward dog if you don't want to. This is a really good abdominal exercise, actually. We are resistance stretching the abdominals as you pull through. A couple more like this. And then shift back to plank, lower the knees, and lower all the way down to the mat. Roll the shoulders down and back, lift the chest. If you can put all your toenails on the mat, that's great. Contract the quads and lift the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together down. Imagine the elbows pulling back toward the hips. And breathe. And then press back to downward dog. Walk the feet toward the hands slowly. Bend your knees if you have to. Slowly up to the front of the mat. Hold your shins versus the floor if you cannot touch the floor. I have a feeling my head is going to get cut off here, but we'll see. I might have to move my camera back a little bit. So from here, place your hands on your shins, bend your knees just slightly, and lift your chest. Pull your chest forward. And then fold again. Inhale up to standing. Oh, there we go. Inhale up. And exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to move through a little bit of a sun salutation. There are many different ways to do sun salutation, but we're going to keep it pretty simple today. Just keep breathing with your movements, and hopefully you'll find that they go together. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway rise, hands on the shin. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower down to the mat. I'm going to use the bent knee method, but you can do a full chaturanga if you like. Inhale to your version of a back bend, be it cobra. Your cobra can be here, or upward dog. And then exhale to downward dog. And then walk your feet toward your hands, front of the mat. Bend your knees a lot, lift your chest, inhale up, and exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to do that a couple more times. Inhale up, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, walk your feet back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here when you hit downward dog. Move around. And then when you're ready, you can walk your feet forward or jump forward. Bend your knees, inhale up. And exhale, hands to your heart. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, walk back, or you can jump back. If you're a jumper, you want to land with bent elbows. Inhale, upward dog or cobra, and exhale, downward dog. I hope this isn't too much today. Couple breaths here in downward dog. Look between your hands, walk your feet forward, or hop them forward. If you're not familiar with hopping, just like that, but you're moving your feet forward. And then inhale up, exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale up, exhale, fold forward. We're going to do a half salutation, so walk it back to plank, or you can jump back, whichever you prefer. Chaturanga, inhale, upward dog or cobra, and exhale, downward dog. We're going to lift the right leg high behind you. Just stretch it up there, and then step the foot between the hands. We want a little space, like the feet should be about hip width apart, and we're going to lower the heel. So I'm going to spin my back heel in a little bit and rise to warrior one. Hips are squaring forward, warrior one. Lift the chest out of the hips and circle the arms around behind you. And from here, we're going to shift the weight forward and balance on the right leg. Shift the weight forward even more. Try to keep this back leg rotated inward so the toes are pointing down. And we're in warrior three. And from warrior three, step back slowly into your warrior one. And rise again. Circle the arms around behind you. And then place the hands on the mat and start to straighten the front leg. You can kind of bend and straighten if you like. Blocks, if you need them, under your hands. That would be great. So this is pyramid pose, by the way. And then bend the knees, step back to plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down. I'm taking the easy option. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Now inhale the left leg high behind you. Just take a good stretch here. I always like to try to lower my right heel a little bit when I'm here. Get a nice, good calf stretch. And then step this foot through. We're going to lower the back heel. We don't want to turn the foot too much, just kind of a 2/3 turn, and then rise up. Warrior one. In this warrior one, you're going to take your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, spread your elbows like in the front, try to pull them back, pull the shoulder blades together and down, and then push the head into the hands. Get a little chest stretch. And from here, release the arms. Take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, pull the shoulder blades together and down, lift the chest, and shift the weight forward onto that left leg. So we're coming into a warrior three, this time with the hands clasped behind, a little different. Try to keep that back leg, the right leg, heel up and toes down. So you might have to think about internally rotating that back leg a little bit. And then stretch it back, step it back to warrior one. Inhale up and exhale, fold forward. So bend and straighten if you like, whatever you prefer. And then hands on the mat and step back to plank. From plank, lower down to the mat, and we're going to take a little chest stretch here. So my microphone's going to get in the way of this, but you're going to take your arm out in a L position. So there is a 90-degree bend in your elbow. Please work within your range of motion for this one. I'm going to turn my head to the right, and as I'm pressing my elbow and my hand into the mat, bend my right knee and roll onto my left side. Should be a pretty good pec stretch. I'm kind of rolling in and out of it so I can get a true resistance stretch. And then I'm going to stretch my arm completely out to the side, palm down. I'm pressing my palm into the mat as I roll. And you can take any angle of this. Sometimes I like to turn my hand upside down, so my palm is up and my hand is internally rotating. You could also move your arm up in a 45-degree angle to get into your pec minor. And then we're going to do the other side. So 90-degree bend in the elbow. Press the elbow and the hand into the mat. Push and roll. Again, I'm going to roll in and out of it. I don't do this stretch enough, and I'm feeling it today. I really should be doing it at least once a week. And then you can straighten the arm. You can put the arm straight out to the side and roll that way as well. That's going to get into your bicep a little bit more. You can always go diagonal, take the hand up a little bit. Just wherever you're feeling it the most, wherever you feel you need it the most. And again, you can internally rotate the arm, turn the palm upside down. And then rotate back and press back to downward dog. We're going to walk the feet to the hands again. Forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest, rise, inhale up. And exhale, hands to the heart. And we're going to stop and do a little hip stretch, just like we did last week. I'm going to cross my ankle over, press the ankle into the thigh, and stick my butt out behind me as I come down into the stretch. Push and rise. Last week we did an arm balance. You are more than welcome to take that option. I don't really feel open enough yet to do the arm balance, but it's always an option. A couple more times. And switch sides. So cross the right ankle over the left, press the ankle into the thigh, stick your rear end out behind you. Come down until you feel a stretch and use that right ankle to press yourself out of it. Just moving in and out of this stretch. Hopefully, with each one, you're getting a little bit deeper, feeling a little less stuck. It's always the case with me. It takes at least 3 for me to get going. Good. And then rise back up. Well, we inhale up, exhale, fold forward, step back to downward dog. And we are going to do a little bit of hip flexor stretching. So grab your blanket if you need it. You might not. I'm just going to keep mine here for a little while. And I'm going to bring my right foot forward. I'm going to scissor my inner thighs together, belly in and up, and shift forward and back. So as I come forward, I should feel like my back foot's pushing into the mat. And I'm going to try to stay up straight. Working in and out of this stretch. You could also add more by lifting your arms and leaning to the right. And then I'm going to tuck my toes under in the back, pop my back leg up, rotate the heel totally in, and you might want to walk your right foot over to the left a little bit and rise. So we are in Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, bend your right elbow, drop your right hip, lean into it, and take your left arm up by your ear for side angle. Now, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, it's totally up to you. Reach down for the floor or your ankle or your block and go deeper. I'm turning my shoulders and my hips up toward the ceiling as I do this to maximize this stretch. And then from here, I'm going to start to straighten my right leg. I'm going to bend and straighten. My arm's going to go up toward the ceiling into triangle. Triangle is here. Just feel it out. If something doesn't feel right, don't go that far. I'm going to bring my left hand back down to the mat. I'm going to turn my hips again and lower my back knee. I'm going to walk this right foot out to the side. So it's out toward the edge of the mat a little bit. I'm going to put my left hand down on the mat and turn my shoulders toward my right knee, pushing the knee open with my hand. You can see this. I'm pushing it open just to get a little bit deeper into this stretch. And then if you like, reach behind and grab. This might be a little bit of a stretch for some of you, but some of you might be able to do it. Push-pull, that always helps open up the muscle a little bit more. And then from here, we're going into a side plank. I really should turn around so you can see this, which I will. So I'm here. I'm pushing the knee open. I've got my foot hooked. I'm going to let go of my foot. I'm going to lift the knee, and I'm going to turn my body into a side plank. If you can, lift the foot and come into a full side plank. And then we're going to lift this leg, take it behind you, lift the chest, and open up into what is called wild thing, which is kind of a totally made up yoga pose, but it's kind of fun and it feels great. Great chest opener. And then turn back around and we'll finish the chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra, and exhale, downward dog. And then walk your feet toward your hands, forward fold. Bend your knees, rise to standing, inhale, and exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale up, exhale, fold forward. Step back to downward dog. And then step through with your left foot. If this is too much, just start from here. I'm turning so that you can see and step. So we're going to rotate this heel totally in and rise to warrior two. The heel of the front foot should be in line with the arch of the back foot. This is the back foot, front foot, right? Warrior two. And let's tip back a little bit before we come into side angle. Side angle, the right hip or the left hip is dropped a little bit. I have a video of this called Yoga and Stretching 1. And it kind of goes through the foot placement, where you should be in your warrior two and your side angle. So you can refer to that. Otherwise, just kind of mimic and come down a little deeper if you like. So I'm really dropping into it now. And my arm is up by my ear, palm is down. Turning my shoulders and my hips up toward the ceiling as much as I can. And opening this left knee. And then we're going to start floating into triangle. Floating. It does kind of look like, yeah, floating up. So hips are coming up, left leg starting to straighten, bend, straighten. Feel it out. Foot placement for all of these poses is the same. It's a great QL stretch in this one. And then we're going to bend, rise up a little bit, straddle the front foot with the hands, I'm going to drop this knee down. And I'm going to turn the other way so that I'm not facing away from you when I do it this side. So I'm dropping in. I'm going to come up and scissor my inner thighs together. So we're doing the hip flexor stretch on the other side. Belly in and up. Shift forward and back. I realized that I just got you guys into this totally backwards. We did this first on the other side. This is how rusty I am with my teaching. So this is why I'm doing this. Part of why I'm doing this is so that I can possibly get back into teaching live, real classes. And then we're going to lean over to the left. And I do notice that we did not do this first on this side because I felt a little tighter as we went into the side angle. And then shift forward and walk this left foot out to the side. So we're just dropping into it. And I'm going to turn. I'm going to place my left hand on my knee and push it out. Just getting into the hip a little bit and the inner thigh. And if you can, reach back behind you, flip the foot up and catch it. Push, pull, push, pull. And then we're going to take it into a side plank. So we're going to lift the back foot, turn. So this front foot is supporting your plank. You can take it into a full side plank if you like. Lift. Bring the feet together. And wild thing if you can. So lift the foot, take it behind you, and lift. Good. Release back to center. We're going to drop it down to the mat. At least I am. And do a bow. So for bow, you're going to bend one, like you can do one at a time. I think that's what we did last week. I did a single arm bow. So you can do this or both feet and push the feet into the hands to lift. Take a couple of breaths here if you can. And release. And press back to downward dog. I'm going to get rid of this blanket again. I'm going to walk my feet halfway up the mat and walk my hands toward my feet. Bend the knees, rise up to standing. We're going to do dancer next. Inhale up. Exhale, take your left hand behind you and hook the foot. You can take the foot on the outside or the inside, whichever you prefer. We want to try to get rid of this anterior pelvic tilt. So I see a lot of dancers that kind of look like this. We want it to be like a half bow on the bottom. So when you're doing this, hopefully you can push the foot into the hand, belly in and up, tailbone under. And then as you come forward, push the foot into the hand so you make like an arc with your back. And you can come in and out of this. This is definitely a challenge for my balance if I'm not focused on a point. So find a point to focus on. In and out. And then we're going to drop down to the floor with our hands. So we were in a supported warrior 3, and what I want you to try to do is lift the back leg up as much as you can, walk the hand toward the foot into a standing split. And if you're really, really up for a handstand right now, here's where to do it. So you would put your hands on the mat, and you're just going to pop a little bit, totally optional. Maybe you're not into this at all. That's okay. But it's a start if you're working toward handstand. It's a great place to start. Bring your feet together, forward fold. Bend your knees and rise to standing. We'll do the other side for dancer. So again, we're going to grab the foot behind. Try to get rid of this anterior tilt. This is an anterior tilt. This is a posterior tilt. We're all guilty of either one times. But we want to try to get a posterior tilt going here. And then work into your dancer. So you want to keep that posterior tilt as you push your foot into the hand, bend forward. Just work in and out of it. Find a focal point. This is kind of like taking dancer into a resistance stretch, because anything can be a resistance stretch if you just add movement and resistance. So that's what we're doing here. And one more time, we'll drop down to the mat. You may need to bend your knee to do this. And then kick the back leg up. Take your head toward the floor. Walk your hands back. And again, this is an opportunity for your handstand if you'd like to just kind of bend and pop, bend and pop. Get a little air time, maybe not. And then feet together, forward fold. Bend your knees, rise up, inhale. Take a big stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Come down to your hands and knees. And we're going to swing the feet around to the front. Keep your blocks handy if you have a block. So bring your feet up by your hips, tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, and lift your hips into a bridge. Squeeze your glutes. Think about your inner thighs rolling inward to keep the knees from splaying open too much. Also keep the hamstrings active, so press the feet into the mat. If you have a block and you want to put it under here, by all means, go for it. Or maybe you would like to take your bridge into a full wheel. I teach full wheel without balancing on the head, so if you need to do that, then by all means do that. So my hands are upside down. I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to press myself up. And lots of posterior tilt here. So anterior tilt is really going to get into that low back and hold as long as you like. And then release. By all means, do that again if you like. And from here, we're going to take the feet out to the side, the edges of the mat, and windshield washer the knees from side to side. I always like to do a spinal twist after back bends because it kind of resets the spine a little bit. If this isn't enough of a spinal twist for you, then by all means, lift the knees and rock from side to side. Okay, grab your strap. Don't have a strap? Um, Go get one or a towel will do. Old ties really work great for straps. Exercise bands. Loop the strap around your foot. Stretch the left leg out. So I've got my strapper on my right foot, and I'm going to Barbie doll my right toes. You know, Barbie's always wearing heels, so her foot is permanently like that. And I'm going to push my foot, use that Barbie doll foot to push away, and then I'm going to pull back with the strap. That should really get into the hamstring. Then I'm going to take the strap with my right hand, turn my toes out to the side, and then open the hip. Squeeze the glute to get this to happen on your right side. And then take the foot back up, hold it with your left hand, and then take it across the body. Just a little bit at first. Imagine the outside of your leg growing longer and the inside of your leg growing shorter. And we're going to rotate all the way over into a deep spinal twist. And then back up and switch feet. So if I pull my toes back toward my shin, I'm going to get a lot behind the knee and my calf. But if I push the ball of the foot away, then I can kind of get a push and pull going here. And this is a resistance stretch, but I actually learned this in a yoga class, a master class a long time ago. And I really liked it. I didn't do resistance stretching at that time, but I really liked the feeling of this. Maybe that's partially why I've gravitated so much to resistance stretching. And then we're gonna hold the strap with the left hand, turn the toes out to the side, and holding everything steady in the torso, we're gonna lower down. So we want to control this with the leg, really. We're gonna bring it back up and take it over to the other side. So I'm holding it with my right hand, take it across the body. Just enjoy that IT band stretch. I know you can't really stretch your IT band because it's connected to but all the muscles that are bumped up to it get stretched, and that does work. And then we're going to rotate all the way over. And then back up and release your strap. And I think we're just going to take a little relaxation. For those of you who just want to hang out here, that's fine. I'm going to take a little extra IT band stretch. I'm going to take my out to the side. I'm going to take my right foot and cross it over, and I'm going to take my arms, my upper body. I'm going to wiggle my upper body over to the left, stretch my arms up, and then try to stretch this right leg straight. So if you are doing this, and you can switch sides, just upper body goes over to the right, right leg goes out to the right, stretch the arms up and over, and then cross the legs and stretch that left leg. I'm finding myself rolling all the way over to my right hip. Try to keep both hips on the mat if you can. And that's it for today. I have a question for you all. Um, I feel really comfortable teaching resistance stretching because I've been teaching it for, years now. And I have not been teaching yoga, but what do you all want to see? Do you want more resistance stretching? Or would you rather like a live resistance stretching class or a live yoga class or sort of the combo? So if you've watched the whole thing, I would love your input and I'd love some feedback on that or things that you would like to have a class on. And that's about it for today. Namaste. Happy stretching. Until next week. Bye bye.